drive a lot of advertising spend. They are huge marketers. How will they be navigating the conversations with their employees, the talks on the labor front, as they also try to manage consumer perceptions around their brands, especially at this time of great transition in the industry? Well, let's get some perspective now from John Yorke. He's CEO of Rain, one of our regulars, of course, here on Bloomberg, talking about the marketing story. John, there was such a focus there by the Unifor president on the relationship with employees. If you're one of these automakers, what do you have to, if you're on the marketing side, and they spend a lot on advertising, what are they thinking about while all this is going on?
Well, yeah, it's a complex deal because one of your largest buyers is your employees. So, employee families and et cetera. So, you can't sort of alienate your core base of people who are, if you're a Ford person, you're a Ford person and such. But I think Sean Fain and the UAW have done an incredible job in kind of lining up this fight. But if you follow, Sean Fain's got some incredible social media.
He's the UAW president. Yeah. He's very unique. Yeah, he uses social media. Yep.
And even who they're targeting on the walkout today. They targeted the small truck, plants in the U.S. So Ford Bronco and other areas. So some passion brands. So basically, they're telling the big three from a marketing perspective, we're not going to hurt you because those people will be brand loyal. They'll wait. Like the truck drivers wait. They won't go and switch brands. So they're kind of like, if there's a delay in production or somebody has to wait a week or two longer for their vehicle to come, you're still going to wait for your Ford F-150. You're still going to, delay. So even how they're targeting it, they're being very sensitive. And so basically,
that's interesting because the flip side to that was people were saying, aha, they're targeting profit centers for
well, they didn't charge their largest profit vehicles, the large trucks yet. So that's next. That's how you kind of line that up and you go, okay, we're going to be nice to you early.
Yeah.
But if you're not, just see what we could do to you and do some damage. So, but from a brand perspective, I think what you're telling your employees is, they've made a good offer. They've been very public about a double-digit increase in the fees of what they're paying. So they're trying to win the PR battle. But like I said, Sean Fain's been very smart in lining up a lot of his messages. You saw the Canadian President Lana say the same things, very similar playbook. And so from a brand perspective, I'd say right now the union workers seem to be winning.
The fact that labor talks, which once maybe, would make it onto television or a radio update, but through social media are always present, that your brand is right there with any corporate reality right now. Is it a new world in that sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that the idea of union halls and the ability to, have to mobilize that way is gone by the wayside now, that you have the ability just to tweet out and reach everybody instantly with what your position is. So if there's a new offer, it can be in people's hands within minutes.
And what about this transition to electric vehicles, which, by the way, is part of the conversation taking place? I don't want to generalize. There's so many aspects to this, but I think for the automakers to say, yes, we are profitable, but we have to spend a lot of money over the next decade to stay profitable and make this EV transition work. So what about the marketing part there? The idea is everybody ready for this united push towards a new Ford or a new GM?
Right.
And how does that play out depending on how long the strike is?
Yeah, if you watch Ford's buy in Canada and watch their media, most of their media is on the electric cars. There's a hard push from Ford specifically, a little bit GM, a little bit of Audi, but you see a lot of Ford right now pushing. I drive a Mach-E, so I notice it a little bit more. But I think that switch is interesting. The interesting thing on the economic side of it is that an EV takes less human hands to build once you have the battery power. And we see that in Ontario here with the new EV battery plants being built. So you're going to see less employees. So again, that has a huge impact on the auto workers because there are going to be less jobs.
Yeah.
So it might be higher paid, but if it's less jobs, it's kind of a wash on what they're fighting for. So there is that protection, but you and I have talked about it before. I know you've talked about Tesla spending no money in advertising or marketing versus GM. It spends $3.2 billion in advertising and, like almost $1,000 per vehicle.
Right.
It's a lot of money to be spent. And then, when your number one competitor in the electric cars is not spending anything.
Yeah.
So, again, Tesla looks like from a brand perspective that they're winning this discussion, as is Toyota and some of the foreign auto manufacturers.
It's a helpful point because even